Alrighty, what is going on, Pets Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, by the title, you guys can tell that we're going to be doing this yearly video where we take a look at the early New England Patriots 2023 opponents. Now, obviously, with that being said, this isn't necessarily a record predictions video. That's way too soon. And we also don't know the exact schedule, by a week 1 to week 18, who the exact opponents are. But we know our home opponents, we know our away opponents, and we officially know just who we are going to be playing. That official schedule will drop somewhere between April is usually when that does drop. So, of course, stay tuned for that. That's when I'll break down each and every single week, the bye week, some of my overall thoughts on that. So it's a video you guys are not going to want to miss. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you guys get notified for all the videos I post. Also, guys, if you are not already, become a Patreon member. Why not? For only $10, guys. $10 a month. That is not even a coffee a day. Not even a coffee a day. Not even a coffee every other day. Okay? To be a Patreon member, you get several benefits you can see here on the screen. One of the biggest benefits that we are utilizing, though, and that I found that Patriots fans are really liking, and the Patreon members that have joined, is that you join a Patreon exclusive Discord chat. That's the best way to get a hold of me. It's the best way to talk to other Patriots fans. We're constantly dropping news. As soon as NFL news drops or just Patriots news drops, me or somebody else is immediately dropping it within the chat. But also, whenever I do go live, there's some live streams where I don't let Patreon members come on just because I want to kind of, have it a professional video where I'm kind of just getting my point across. But for a lot of live streams, I do let Patreon members come on. And with the draft coming around, with free agency coming around, we're going to be doing a lot of live streams where I'll be having my Patreon members coming on to the channel during these live streams and kind of sharing some of their opinions and whatnot. So if you want to know, if you want to let your opinion known to the rest of Pats Nation here on this channel, your way of doing that is by becoming a Patreon member. Link in the description below, and also link pinned in the first comment below. We will also be doing a watch-along party for this year's draft like we've done the last 2 years. So if you'd like to be a part of that live stream, become a Patreon member. Now, guys, there's only one way we start each and every single one of these videos. So without further ado, let's just roll that intro. Hey guys, so let's just put it up on the screen. I did make a little bit of an edit for you guys here, just so you guys, it's a little easier for you guys to follow along when I do that. Got so many edits on here. Let me find it. There we go. Let's pull that up, baby. So this is going to be the New England Patriots 2023 opponents, as you guys can tell. Like I said, we made this exact same video a year ago from now when we looked at our 2022 opponents, which, before we really hop into things, which edit do you guys like better? Do you guys like this edit from 2022 better? Or do you like the edit for 2023 better? Let me know in the comments section. I'm just very curious to know it. Feedback's always very, very helpful. But if we take a look at these opponents straight away, our home opponents, we start with the AFC East, the in-division opponents that we have each and every single year. We play these teams twice a year. Jets, Dolphins, Bills. And we're going to get into my thoughts on all these, but let's just get those guys out of the way. Next home opponent we have is going to be the Chargers. We have the Eagles, the Colts, the Commanders, the Saints, the Chiefs, and then we look at the way. But before we get into the way, I will say that the Patriots did have one extra home opponent than they did away opponent. But as we all know, New England will be playing in Germany this year. Very fun. The last time we did an international game was 2017 when we went to Mexico. We played the Raiders and we demolished them with Brandon Cooks and Tom Brady. But we're going to be back with an international game that was expected. We're playing in Germany, but we will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs in Germany. And that was originally a home game for us. I know that it was a home game because I actually really wanted to go to this game. This was the game that I was looking forward to going to. And now I can't because it's in Germany. So technically, we are the home team for that game. So expect us to wear our home jerseys for that international game in Germany. But this will not be played at Gillette. Kansas City will not be played in Gillette. That's just something I want to get out there right now. As for our away games, like I said before, in division, Jets, Dolphins, Bills. Then we're playing the Giants. Then we're playing the Denver Broncos. Then we're going back to the Raiders, back in Las Vegas after the Las Vegas miracle that happened there last year. That's going to be a week where we are constantly seeing that play. Then the Steelers and then the Cowboys also. So my first thought originally off the bat is this schedule is harder than last year. If you take a look at this schedule and then you take a look at last year's schedule, I think it's very clear that this is a much harder schedule than it was last year, although we do play a lot of the same teams. Now, obviously, you're going to play Jets, Bills, and Dolphins every single year, twice a year. We know that. But even compared to minus those teams that we played last year, a lot of those teams are familiar teams and similar teams that we are playing on this year's schedule also. So I thought that was very interesting. I'll be very curious to see where this schedule for the Patriots ultimately ranks among strength of the schedule, because this has to be one of the harder ones in the NFL, 100%. The Patriots are playing a lot of playoff teams here. I mean, you add the Bengals to this list and the Jags to this list, and the Patriots are playing every single team from the AFC playoffs. Bills made it to the playoffs this past year. Dolphins made it to the playoffs. Chargers made it to the playoffs. Chiefs made it to the playoffs, right? And then you even go ahead and you look at the NFC, and the Patriots are going to be playing a lot of the teams from the NFC playoffs from 2023 also. The Eagles, the Giants, the Cowboys. This is not going to be easy for the Patriots. They're playing a lot of playoff teams. From my count, they're playing about 7 playoff teams. Not to mention that they'll be playing, one, the Super Bowl champion from this year, whether that's the Chiefs or Eagles, but two, they'll be playing both teams that went to this year's Super Bowl in the Eagles and the Chiefs. This is going to be no easy task for the Patriots, but this is especially going to be no easy task for the New England Patriots defense. That's why we're looking at cornerbacks in our secondary. Whether Devin McCourty comes back or not, the Patriots are going to need to solidify this secondary, because when the Patriots played against premier quarterbacks and premier offenses last year, their defense did struggle a little bit. So that secondary 100% is going to be needed to be figured out by the Patriots. I think that obviously is a need that we all know about, but I think it's actually more of an underrated need than people are truly giving it credit for. You know, you look at the Eagles offense, one of the best in the NFL. We know the Dolphins and Bills will be one of the best in the NFL. The Raiders, we know that they'll be one of the best in the NFL as long as they can, I guess, figure out their quarterback situation. I think the Broncos are going to be a dark horse, but what I really want to do right now is actually kind of just go game by game and give some of my ultimate thoughts on the opponents. You know, if we're going to start off here with the Jets, and we start off with the AFC East here, the Jets are a very, very underrated team. The Jets are really a quarterback away, in my mind, from actually being a good team that can finally beat the Patriots at least once. So I think that question comes down to, can they get a real quarterback or not? If it's Zach Wilson or Mike White, like, I'm not all that worried. They have a great defense. I think is going to be great for a really long time. They have that building block there. I think they have a building block there even with their offense and Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, whether he's a part of that or not. They obviously have a really good running back by committee there with quite a few guys that they have. So if they can figure out that quarterback situation, which we know that they're interested in Aaron Rodgers, they're interested in Jimmy Garoppolo, like, they want a above average quarterback, and that is their biggest focus this offseason. If they can land that, I think the Jets become a more scary team than people are going to give them credit for. The Dolphins, obviously, that biggest question is that second half drought that ultimately they faced. I think they lost 5-6 games, something like that in a row at the end of the season, including the Patriots, but ultimately made it to the playoffs and then lost in the playoffs also. So they're having a pretty bad drought there, but they had one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. They just have to figure some things out there. I think that ultimately came down to play calling and coaching at the end. So there's some things that I'll be excited to see from the Dolphins next year. And then obviously moving on to the Bills. The Bills are going to be the Bills. The Bills are going to have Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. They're going to be a good team. They were very inconsistent at times last year, but they're still going to be the Bills. They're still going to be a playoff team, and they're going to be a team that pushes the AFC Championship. As for the Chargers, again, they're a playoff team. They have a really good team with a lot of talent. They came down to coaching also. Now, funny enough, they fired their offensive coordinator and then picked up the offensive coordinator from the Dallas Cowboys once he was fired. I think it'll help them a little bit, but I think ultimately it came down to their head coach, which I really like. But ultimately, when you're blowing that many leads, it comes down to your head coach. So we'll see if that's going to be an issue with the Chargers blowing leads, which I still expect. But they're no easy task, but the Patriots seem to usually have their way with the Chargers. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to be a real tough matchup for the Patriots. They're probably going to be the team that ends up winning the Super Bowl. And I will have a video coming out likely about my Super Bowl picks and opinions. If that's something you guys are interested in, at least let me know in the comment section below. But that's going to be no easy task for the Patriots. The only thing they have going for them is that, hey, the Patriots at least have this as a home game, but that's going to be really tough for New England in all phases. We don't like Philly. Us Patriots fans know we don't like Philly. Well, I think all 31 NFL teams can agree we don't like Philly. But that's going to be no easy task for the Patriots. The Colts have a new head coach. It's hard to exactly say what they're going to be next season, but I think they're still going to be a bottom pack team in the NFL, at least a bottom half pack team in the NFL. So I'm not too worried about them. The Washington Commanders, they're one of those teams that are also really, to me, a quarterback away. An underrated defense, especially that defensive line. If they can get in Mac Jones' face and disrupt the Patriots' offense, I think their offense can still find ways to get open. Obviously, Terry McLaurin, they have a decent running back by committee there. Ron Rivera, I think, has done a decent job coaching that team. The Washington Commanders are really just one of those teams where they can beat a really good team. Example, they beat the Eagles last year for the Eagles' first loss, or they can lose to just a really, really bad team that you expect them to beat. And there's no in between. As for the Saints are in this weird area where they're going to be, I think, in like negative 40, $50 million, something like that in cap space. They're in the bottom pack of cap space. Again, they're going to be in the negatives. They're going to have to do a lot of work just to get back to zero. So I don't think they're going to be a good team yet again. But I think they're another team that they've been plagued since Drew Brees has left because they don't have a true quarterback. Now, again, we'll have to see what they do ultimately. I think they're going to have to restructure or trade or just release a lot of players just to get back to zero because, again, they aren't so much negative cap space. So I think they're still going to be a bottom pack of the team, but I'm hearing that Derek Carr could be a potential trade candidate for the Saints. They're actually bringing Derek Carr in for a workout. He could be a guy that goes there, and I would expect their offense to take a leap forward compared to last year if Derek Carr does go there. We'll see the offseason they have, but like I said, with the cap situation they have, I still think they're going to be a bottom pack of the team. The Chiefs, those international games are always really hard just because it's an international game. There's really no technical home team or away team. Now, Germany is supposed to actually be more of a New England Patriots fan area, but the team that's actually second behind the Patriots is the Chiefs. So, who's going to show out more, Patriots fans in Germany or Chiefs fans in Germany? I'm excited to see, because that's really going to dictate who makes this a home game. If there's more Chiefs fans, it's going to be a home game for the Chiefs. If there's more Patriots fans, it's going to be a home game for the Pats. I think that's going to be really important. It's going to be a very important dynamic there for each of these teams. And I'm really excited to see this game. I think the Chiefs offense is easily one of the most prolific year after year with Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. But, their defense has always been inconsistent. It's never been top of the pack. But they're also a defense that, despite having talent lacks or personnel lacks, they can in at any given game and just ball out defensively. The Patriots always know how to play the Chiefs at least close. So I think that's going to be a really good game no matter what. So I'm actually really looking forward to watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots, which I expect to be a little bit earlier on in the season. With the international game, usually those are a little bit closer on to the beginning of the season. So I would expect that to fall closer. As we move on to the away games, I already touched on the division, so I'm not going to talk about those again. The Giants, they are another playoff team. Brian DeBall, he's a former Belichick disciple. He used to coach here. He used to coach the tight end. So he's familiar with Belichick. He's familiar with the system. He's familiar with what we do, and that never does bode well for the Patriots. I think that's part of why over the last few years, the Buffalo Bills have had the Patriots numbers. So they had a guy coaching their offense that knew Belichick, knew his defensive schemes, knew how to play against him, and their offense was cooking over the last couple of years. Our defense, no matter what we did. And I always have to give the upper hand to the Belichick disciple. Even if it's an easy win, it should be an easy win. The disciple always comes out on top. Josh McDaniels last year comes out on top. A few years ago, when we're looking at the Detroit Lions, and they were a terrible team. Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl that year. They were a terrible team. Patriots lose to Matt Patricia and the Lions. So, they're a good team. They're obviously a playoff team. They had a pretty good step forward in 2022 compared to the last several years that franchise has had. So that definitely puts some worry in there for me. The Broncos, if this was last year, that's an easy dub. Things are going to be different this year. They still have Russell Wilson, who a lot of people have given up on. I'm not giving up on him. He's still one of my favorite quarterbacks. Over the last, decade, he's been one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the NFL. I think the issue came down to coaching because the Broncos sucked from top to bottom, from special teams to defense to offense, and that came down to coaching. Now they have Sean Payton, who is a Super Bowl champion when he was with the Saints, but also say what you want about the Saints. Say what you want that they only won one Super Bowl. They were in the playoffs consistently year after year when Sean Payton was the head coach. I think the Broncos definitely are going to take a big leap forward in 2023 compared to 2022. So no easy game. Again, playing in Las Vegas, another Belichick disciple in Josh McDaniels. Hopefully things can be switched and reversed this time around, but we know how last time went. And this is going to be no cakewalk for the Patriots either. Steelers played them last year. Not too worried. The Patriots always have the upper hand against Pittsburgh. This is an away game. It was an away game last year also. So again, I'm pretty confident in the Patriots' ability to beat the Steelers. We just always have their number. But Mike Tomlin coach team. It's never an easy game. And then obviously the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to be another fun game to watch. A team that's always in the playoffs, but they always have their deficiencies year after year that make them beatable 100%. So another game that, could go either way. And I think that's kind of the name of the game for the Patriots 2023 schedule, is that a lot of these games could seriously go either way. But nonetheless, this is not going to be an easy ride for the New England Patriots in 2023. And 100%, they're going to have to hit in free agency, and they're going to have to hit the draft. The New England Patriots are killing it so far this offseason in terms of needing to adjust their biggest issue from 2022. And that's not personnel so far. That's their coaching staff. And so far, from the moment that they lost to the Buffalo Bills in Week 18, they jumped on that coaching wagon and have really started to mix things up and make the change from top to bottom, from offensive coordinator to offensive line. We're going to have a new tight ends coach coming in. There's a lot of new pieces from this coaching staff coming in that should make everyone very excited. Not to mention, we're a top 10 in cap space. And if they can hit on this draft, and there's some good pieces, if they can hit on the draft, which has from top to bottom probably is filled with the most needed positions for the Patriots in terms of cornerback and offensive tackles, is probably the deepest at those positions. If the Patriots can hit in free agency and the draft, they should be fine to easily make the playoffs in 2023. But what are your guys' thoughts on this schedule? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, guys, I appreciate you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to comment your thoughts in the comment section, because guys, that tells YouTube, hey, this guy's doing pretty good. Like he's putting in the time. I like him. Let's go suggest this to other users. The more you guys interact with these videos in terms of sharing, liking, and commenting, and the more you watch the videos, it tells YouTube to actually throw the channel out there to more Patriots fans. So let's keep growing this community. You guys give back to me. I'll make sure to always give back to you. But much love, and make sure you guys don't ever forget,